Okay, I think I'm ready. This is the most depressing thing ever. Let's just go. I'm about to die too, so... Oh god, shades! Ow. Good. I can heal, at least. No, not you guys! God, why are you here? I hate the big ones so much. Who else wants a piece of me? Oh, ah. Broken saw. God, I hate their stupid roly-poliness. Come on, I'm ready. Bring it, bring it, bring it.
Yona!
Hello.
This ends here! Strike hard. Hold nothing back.
How can a mere tool hope to stand against the Shadow Lord?
Ow, ow. Listen here, stupid bull. Get out of my face with your stupidness. Ow! Frickin' book. Yeah, I got that.
No! Impossible!
Whew.
Be careful!
I know!
Oh, I missed. Totally missed. Ow, 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 ow. Pain, agony. Ow, ow, ow. Ha! How about that? Oh, he broke it.
Vice, you alright?
Naturally, I'm as fit as a fit.
Ow. Oh, you're not. Ow. Oh, God. Listen here, sir. Ow, sir. Please. Listen, I'm sure we could talk about this. If you allow it.
Wait. Brother?
Yoda. Huh?
Please, just stop. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't need someone else's body. I don't want it. There's another girl inside this body. I can hear her. She won't stop crying. She says she wants to see her brother.
Yoda's been possessed?
This girl loves her brother too, just as much as I do. It's not right, you know? It's not right that she can't see him. It's you, isn't it?
Yes, it's me. Let's go home.
I'm really sorry. I don't know what to. I'm so very sorry. No matter what. Just know that I love you.
Hurry. The shade that possessed her is gone.
Yeah, now I think the other shade is very mad at me.
Run! Watch over Yoda for me. You want me to understand your sadness? Think I'm gonna sympathize with you? I swore to protect my sister and my friends. If someone puts them in danger, they must stand aside or be cut down. Now come on! Let's finish this! Vice, what's wrong?
Ow.
You're freaking me out here, Vice.
What are you doing?
Ow.
Strike the killing blow.
I'm trying.
It seems some headstrong idiot has decided to push me beyond my limits.
Oh, look at him.
I should have taken that job as a cookbook when I had the chance.
Oh, hun.
Sorry.
Only joking. I hate cookbooks.
But
Let's go. Out of the way. I have one final task to fulfill.
where are you going?
Why, to stop him, of course. But after that, it's up to you. Only you can see this battle to its conclusion. I wish you luck, my friend.
You can't. I swore I'd always fight by your side.
You are an exceedingly stubborn lad. You know that, yes? Perhaps that's why I've so enjoyed our time together. But I fear this is where our journey ends.
Vice!
Oh, and remember what I told you about using my full name? Well, forget it. I've grown rather fond of Vice.
Vice. I knew you'd come around.
Don't let it go to your head now.
Grimmer Weiss has lost all his powers.
I have something to defend. I have a reason to live.
And now I have to, like, get my butt.
Shut up.
Whew. Ow. Ow. Whew. Did we do it? Are we good? I'm listening as so. A world in flux.
Is Iona all right? Oh God, no.
Oh, please, the girl is fine.
Vice? Where are you? Are you okay?
I am as well as can be, considering I have lost my physical form. Doubtless my voice will be the next to go, so listen closely. Your sister is safe. Do not mourn her, and do not give up hope. Instead, you must call her back to you.
How?
Use your memories. Recall the times you spent with her. Present her with proof that the two of you live still, and that your lives have meaning. Typical. But take heart. I know you can do it.
What's my favorite food? Cookies. What's my favorite book? That's my magic storybook. What's my favorite place? Home with you. What's my favorite flower? The lunar tear, of course. Okay, one more question. Who do I love more than anyone?
Well, I guess just me.
Is that you?
Hi. Aww.
Iona.
Is this my
Yes, Yona. It's yours and yours alone.
You look bigger than before. Like you've grown up.
Well, yeah. I guess you haven't seen me for a while.
Have I been asleep this whole time?
Something like that.
It's almost like I'm a princess from some fairy tale.
Oh, Yona. I'm so happy to have you back.
Me too.
Kaine.
You and your sister, you have a good life, okay?
Where are you gonna go?
Guess I'll...
You could stay with us, you know.
Thanks, but I'll pass. You know how it is. I got my own shit to take care of.
What do you mean?
Personal shit, alright? Anyway, take it easy, yeah?
Kaine.
Hey, look. It's beautiful. For the longest time, I heard someone telling me how they wanted to see the light. And now, they can finally see it. Thank you. I love it. It's so sunny today.
Yeah, it sure is.
This is so good. Oh hey, no skipping cuts. Credits. Yay, credits! I'm gonna go sob. Oh, lo and behold, that's ending A, I suppose. I wanna cry. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, hold on. Oh boy. So it's kind of like, the people were dying, so they created shells, and the humans were going to put their souls into that, but something, I guess, happened, and other souls, the shells created their own soul, and since the real humans couldn't get into their shells, they became shades. I guess that's the logic behind it. Still so very depressing. You know, the sad music isn't really helping. It's just a lot, you know. Like, this game really knows how to be bittersweet. And I thought it was like because the people of Facade, they were out there fighting and they probably died helping. Yay! Yay. Library. A. Don't actually know where it starts. Yep. Load your clear data after completing the game to experience Kane's story. You can now read the departed mother's diary in your house. Wardrobe has been added to the options menu. You can now change outfits by progressing through mother's diary. Change music has been added to the game. In the options menu. Oh, that's a lot. Whew, okay, oh yeah, it's like... It starts as in the library, but like... Well, we're gonna be going through this game again, so I'm just gonna dump it down to easy so I can get through it quicker. Well, I don't want to... No, I mean, I don't... Well... That might help. But I don't really... Don't want to do auto magic. Maybe auto guard and evade might work out because I'm so dumb with it. I just want to get through it quicker. Because it's basically replaying from a certain point. So I just want to get through it. I don't know where it starts, though. All I know is that we're in the library. That might start from where waking up Kane, or... I don't know. Where is this starting? And then we'll just get through it. I don't actually know where it starts. Yeah, okay.
Whenever I interacted with Kaine, I was reminded about something from my past. Maybe my mind has been confusing her with my sister this whole time. Anyway...
Dialogue is different, though. Kane's dream, discrimination. Oh. The sound of rain filled the village. The steep cliffs that surrounded the area magnified the sound, causing even the slightest drizzle to rattle like a thunderstorm. Thin wisps of smoke streamed from the huts of the villagers huddled in their homes and waited out the rain. A single child, however, had braved the downpour and was now wandering slowly toward the wooden, hark-shaped vein, the center of town. The wanderer reached the vein, which had existed for as long as anyone could remember, and stared. The child's face was soon delicate and fierce, like a teacup that has survived a shipwreck. Those traits combined with pale white skin to give the face an almost sexless quality. If the beak turns east, I'll go home. If it turns west, then I... The child blinked. Rain slowly dripped down the young one's short hair and began its long descent to the ground. Come on, come on! The child felt a slight breeze and watched as the vein slowly creaked to life, spinning its way, and for that moment, it finally settled in the beak firm toward east. East? Really? Before the vein could move again, a jagged rock came spinning and tumbling through the air, striking home against the child's head. The force of the blow dropped the child to the ground as a hail of stones began to fall around. Oh no, they found me. A heartbreaking smile crept across the child's face as the stones continued their assault. The rain and the sound, multiple footsteps grew louder before voices rang out. "Ooh, Kane!" The voice belonged to Demo, worst of the bullies in Eri. Kane struggled to stand. The final stones came skittering through the mud and bounced against her foot. Blood oozed from the cut above her eye and blurred her vision, but she could make out the shapes of Demo and the gang of idiots. The boy seemed taken back for a moment by Kane's seemingly indifference to the blood dripping down from her face, but quickly regained his bravado. "What's up, freak? You like the rain? You like getting all wet? Or did you finally decide to run away from home?" Though she knew it was futile, Kane turned to leave. Before she could get more than a few steps, the other children scrambled around her, cruelty burning in their eyes. Kane knew those were not the only eyes on her. The tormentor's parents watched from the safety of their home. She was attuned to the sensation. It was one she experienced many times before. While the villagers simply turned a blind eye to the actions of their children, many encouraged it openly. In society ruled by superstition and fear, Kane was something to be hated, and if possible, destroyed. "I didn't say you could leave, freak." Demon's words chewed her like a worm through an apple. He can't hurt me, she lied to herself. Be strong, be brave. He can't hurt me, he can't hurt me, he can't hurt. Oh, look, the little freak is gonna cry. What's wrong? Oh, you said everyone hates you and wants you dead? Connie prayed for the rain to flood down and carry her away from the world that seemed to have no place for her. But if there were gods, they chose to ignore her. As Dima crept closer, the clouds began to thin and the rain slowed. Even the weather hates me. I'm useless. I'm a failure. I wish Dima's rock would have taken my head off. Kane couldn't meet Dima's leering gaze as she lowered her eyes and stared at the muddy ground below. The bully moved forward until he was inches away. She could smell the scent of old meat on his breath. The boy grabbed Kane's face with thick fingers and yanked upward. She tried to turn away, but he forced her gaze and jammed his thumb into her eyelid, pry it open. Show me. No. Did you just say no? You can't say no to me. No one says no to me. Not even taking his attention from Kane, he called his cohorts. Come on, let's give that freak what she deserves. As soon as Demo finished, kicks and blows began to rain down upon Kane. Demo paused, still grinning, as Kane curled into a ball and tried to make the pain stop. I don't get you, freak. What you acting like a girl for? Everybody knows what you really are. Kane ignored the question, choosing instead to stare at the weather vane and continue to point east, as if supremely confident about the future they had chosen for her. Go home? Yeah, that's a funny joke for someone. Dead parents and no home to go to. Freak, freak, freak. Kane closed her eyes and listened to the rain, waiting for the pain to start again. As the clutching hands of the village children closed around her, she bent her mind to the sound of the rain, letting it become her world entire. The rain fell, the pain never came. Only when the laughter for 20 minutes turned to terrified cries did she dare open a single blow-caked eye. Kane was shocked at Demo sprawled upon the ground, holding his head, screaming in pain. She could see blood welling from the spaces between his fat, twisted fingers. Oh my god, he's crying. He was actually crying. Deprived of their leader, the other children glanced back and forth between themselves as they waited for someone to step forward and take charge. When no savior emerged, they began to uneasily shuffle away from Kane. But the young girl was the least of their concerns. Instead, their attention was wrapped on the ancient ruined woman standing a few feet away. After struggling for breath for a moment, she finally spoke in a thick voice. Hurts like a bitch, don't it? Now I suggest you scatter before I throw another one. And if any of you little bastards ever touch my Connie again, I'll do far worse than throw a rock. You could count on it. The old woman crouched down and gently touched the hand Demo was using to cover the wound. Before he could think to protest, the palm of her hand to the wound and twisted back and forth. Ow! He leapt to his feet. Stop it! What are you doing? Quit whining. Ain't no one died from a scratch. You hit me with a rock, you stupid bitch. A big one. That thing could have killed me. The old woman shrugged. Death is the best cure for stupid. Demon's face twisted with rage at her words, locking his eyes on Kane, he took a step backward and spat on the ground. Get out! Leave this village. No one wants you here, either of you. Seeing the old woman grab another stone, Demon and his companions turned tail and ran. As they fled, the old woman grabbed her side and barked with a single laugh. Ha! Look at the fat boy go. Guess he's healthy enough to run from a fight. The woman's smile faded as she turned her attention to Connie. Kneeling down, she removed her shawl and placed it around the young girl's shoulder, then produced a cloth from the folds of her dress and began blotting at the blood on her forehead. Oh, Connie, why didn't you fight back? You're stronger than that lot. The words of her grandmother stung Connie, and she turned away. Don't be nice to me. I don't deserve it. Nothing matters anymore. Her tears, held in check for so long, finally began to fall to the muddy ground below. Everyone hates me. They think I cause bad things to happen. They think I'm a freak. I wish I was dead. As Connie's tears turned to sobs, she felt the grandmother's hands on her shoulders. Despite her advanced age and diminutive size, she was a woman of surprising strength, and Connie found herself unable to turn away. Don't talk like that, girl. It's a river wide and deep that flows between the realms of this world and the next, and it grants no mercy to any that attempt the crossing. You got a duty to fight until your last breath, understand? The old woman tightened her grip and tried to still the tremor in her voice. You know the pain of losing someone close to you, Connie. You know because you survived it. As the words hit home, Kane, struck by a force of her love for the old woman. As a young child, she didn't even know of her grandmother. But when her parents died, the woman quickly accepted her as her own. Grandma, as Kane called her, was cunning, vulgar, and quick to violence. And their first few years together had not been easy. With each year passed, Kane and her grandmother grew closer. However, it was only now, sitting in the mud with tears and blood kicking her face, that Kane truly discovered the depths of her affection. Here was a woman who had seen the hardest times, who had seen death, who had fought through all these things, and somehow emerged on the other side. If anyone can understand Kane's pain and loneliness, it was her. Do I make you sick, Grandma? Of course not. Don't be an ass. Kane drew her grandmother's moth-eaten shawl around her and shuddered. But my body, it's not normal. If I was normal, then Mom and Dad wouldn't. Hush. I'll not hear another word of this nonsense. You're my granddaughter and I love you. And these folks have a problem with that, they can go to hell. With that, the old woman reached out and placed a wreath of dried flowers in Kane's hair. The skill it took to bend the flowers without breaking the stems or losing a single petal was remarkable, and the beauty of it made Kane want to cry all over again. Oh my gosh, these are lunar tears! Grandma, you made these for me? Lunar tears were legendary flowers. Most people could live their entire life without ever seeing one, and yet her grandmother had somehow collected a dozen or more. Kane reached up and touched the wreath as she couldn't believe it was real. Where did you find these? Just stumbled upon them when I was out doing shopping. The old woman turned away as she spoke, leading Kane to suspect that something had been more difficult than she was letting on. The pains she took to construct the ornament, let alone track down the flowers used in the construction, made Kane's heart hurt. She reached up gently to adjust the wreath, admiring the way it felt between her fingers. Didn't quite turn out right, said her grandmother as she squinted at it. These old hands had trouble with delicate work, but it sure looks good on a pretty girl like you. Kane blushed and turned away. You think I'm pretty? Of course you are. What a fool thing to say. Thank you, Grandma. Her grandmother smiled. We're going to be fine, you and me. As long as we got each other, we'll be fine. Kane took her grandmother's hand in hers, and the two of them struggled to their feet. As they began to walk home, Kane gripped the hand with all her might, as if to try to stop the smoke from drifting away from the wind. The rain had stopped. Kane stood beneath the weather vane, watching it spin like crazy circles, no longer caring about the direction it faced when it stopped. I don't need to escape. I have a home now. Grandma loves me, and that's enough, even if it's us against the world. Kane let her gaze drift past from the vane onto the cloud sky. The last hints of a rainbow were slowly fading, and she turned and headed home. The light scattered into a million particles and vanished, seemingly taken away by the breeze. Kane's dreams, daily life. In the distance, Kane heard a steady sound of an axe striking wood. The noise had purposeful quality to it, and she was hearing the master woodsman go about his work. The firewood being produced, however, was far from the work of art. That pieces of every shape and size were being flung into the barren yard with wild abandonment. Anyone trying to stack such wood would probably die of frustration before the job was through. Stupid piece of shit axe. Kane's grandmother flailed away with the axe, feeling the air with splinter words and words that could make most hardened sailor blush. Grandma, called Kane. That you, Kane? The old woman, taking her eyes off the wood for a moment. Don't get too close or I might take your goddamn foot off by mistake. She brought the axe down on a piece of wood, sending chips in every direction. One spun past Kane close enough for her to hear the whistle, at which point she decided to step back. Once she scuttled to a safe distance, she cupped her hands to her mouth and shouted, Grandma, do you need help? I could get some water or lunch or a new axe or something. The axe poised for another wobbly blow, paused in midair. The old woman considered her daughter's offer for a moment and smiled. Tell you what, since I'm doing such a piss-poor job of chopping, why don't you come here and take over while I get the water? Shades have been restless lately. I don't want you running into one of them bastards. Relinquishing the axe, her grandmother picked up a long pole with wooden buckets on either end. Gathering water was difficult to Giles, but Kane knew better than to complain. Once Grandma's mind was set, there was no change in it. Kane did her best to help with the chores, but Grandma took every task that required travel to the village. Though she had a long list of plausible excuses, Connie knew the real reason. She didn't want her granddaughter to be taunted and harassed by the villagers. Once Connie moved in, Grandma decided to take up residence a good distance from the area. Out of sight, out of mind seemed to be the best policy when it came to the villagers and her granddaughter. And on the rare days when any of the two of them could be found on the rocky acre, the land they call home, Connie enjoyed the solitude, but harbored a secret resentment that her grandmother was forced to spend her golden years in such a place. After watching her grandmother leave, Connie turned her attention to the task at hand. She never chopped wood before in her life, and soon discovered why the old woman hated the chore. Swing after swing, the axe produced only a tiny crack in the wood. When she finally managed to connect with a solid stroke, the tool embedded itself in the log and refused to budge. Frustrated, Connie swung the axe around her head and threw it, log and all, across the yard. Damn it, ugh, crap. She suddenly understood why the joy her grandmother felt in a good curse. Happier now, she picked up the axe and forced it from the wood and resumed chopping. She had a natural skill with the blade, but the tasking was challenging, and blisters soon began to form on her small pink hands. This is tough, and the logs are weird old sizes. Splitting on her palms, ignoring the pain, Connie redoubled her efforts. Just as she dissolved the rhythm, grandmother returned from the village. Sitting down the buckets with a small sigh, she took the logs and coughed a wheezy laugh. Pretty clumsy, girl. You'd better practice if you... Her grandmother suddenly collapsed to her knees, causing one of the buckets to wobble precariously. Eyes wide, Connie dropped the axe and ran to her grandmother's side. Grandma! The old woman shook her head and pointed at the bucket. Get the bucket. Can't let it spill. Connie steadied the bucket with her foot and knelt by her grandmother. A small bit of water sloshed over the side and made a new home at the hem of her dress, but Connie didn't notice. Grandma, what's happening? Crazed with panic, she grabbed her grandmother by the shoulders and shook. After a moment, the woman lifted her arms and batted Connie away. Stop it. Just stop. It ain't like I'm dying. I'm just tired from the trip and all. Connie desperately wanted to believe her, but one look at the old woman's shaking hands and worn face told her more words than words ever could. Her grandmother had lived a long, hard life, and it seemed the bill was finally coming due. The time when her grandmother watched over Connie was ending. Sooner than either of them had feared, the position had been reversed. The next morning, Connie came to the side of her grandmother's bed and took her wrinkled hand. Grandma, you're sick and need medicine. I'm going to the village. The woman shook her head and tried to raise, but Connie gently pushed her down. It's all right. I'll be fine. Her grandmother fixed her gaze that could melt steel. After what seemed like eternity, she finally lowered her eyes and sighed. Well, I don't like it, goddammit, but I guess I should quit being stubborn and let you grow up. The old woman watched Connie strap on her boots and made her way down the road to the village. Hours later, as an unseen sun made its way across the dark sky, she was still watching. Connie moved at a brisk pace, checking her pockets every few minutes to make sure the money her grandmother was still there. Every noise caused her to spit on her heels, making sure she wasn't being stalked by a shade or worse, Demo and his gang. But she encountered neither tormentors nor shades. As Connie finally found herself at the entrance of the village, the few adults she could see glanced sideways, then muttered to each other behind raised hands before slinking into the shadows. Her heart was racing. She took a series of rapid, shallow breaths and tried to calm herself. I have to prove myself. I have to help Grandma. I have to be strong. She chanted those words over and over and slowly made her way. Finally, her eyes settled on the older woman who was angrily waving her arms in the air and telling anyone who would listen what she thought of Connie's presence. Hey, lady, where's the apothecary? The woman's flabby cheeks. How dared this thing speak to me, they seemed to say, but Connie saw that her eyes held different emotion, fear. Yeah, we're both scared, lady. Trust me on this one. Which way? Connie repeated. The woman pointed to a small building to her right, hitching up her dress and stumbling off in the other direction. Connie cringed, expecting a stone to come flying from the assembled crowd, but none came. Her mind was filled with a strange sense of pride as she made her way to the apothecary, but then a new emotion had little time to take root. As soon as she opened the door, she noticed a familiar customer at the counter. It was Demo. Clearly, he had been sent here on some kind of family errand because his gang and followers nowhere to be found. What are you doing here, freak? The insult was delivered without force, and Connie happily ignored it. Stretching on tippy toes to see over the counter, she asked the shopkeeper for some medication. The outfit's finally kneeled over. Go to hell, Demo. The boy's eyes seemed to grow wide as they seemed ready to fall off his head, but before he could fly another comic or worse to punch, the apothecary told him to knock it off before he kicked them out of the store. Demo slunk out of the shop, cursing Connie under his breath. Once he was gone, she allowed herself to breathe once more, taking a brief tour of the shop while the owner prepared her medication. Countless tiny bottles crammed the store, each labeled with something written. An ocean of aromas assaulted her nose, creating a scent that was exotic but not altogether unpleasant. Seeing such a variety of supplies, Connie gave a sense of peace. Surely in a world so vast, it would be a place she could call home. On the far wall behind the counter rested a portrait of a stunning young girl. The picture had once been bright and vibrant colors, but time had worked its cruel magic and they were beginning to fade. The beauty of the work, however, remained undiminished. You like that picture? Connie turned to the apothecary with the small vial of medicine in his hand. His eyes were gentle but sad. They seemed to stare through her into nothing as he spoke. That's my daughter. I sketched it when she was a little girl. She's been dead for a long time now. Connie didn't know how to respond. She just stared at the portrait and tried to come up with the right words. Pictures are wonderful things. They let the closest thing to you live on forever. He shook his head slightly. Then he looked down at Connie and smiled, handing her the medicine, and reached his sizable green apron and produced a handful of old wax crayons. You should have these. There's no one left that I wish to draw. Connie took an instinctive step back, causing the shopkeeper's face to darken. Yes, I heard the rumors about you. It's a small village where it travels quickly. Between you and me, I'm not sure which one they'll believe, but I don't think they matter much. I know your grandmother, Callie, and I think the way she's driven out of this town was deplorable. Grandma's name was Callie, thought Connie. Suddenly she was mulling the new of a fact, and she reached and gently took the crayons from the apothecary's hands. Your grandmother is an old friend of mine, and I owe her much. I wager she would like it if you drew a picture of her. Yes, I think she would like that very much. Connie's murmured a quiet agreement, but inside her heart was bursting. Never before had a villager treated her with anything but complete contempt. It was a tiny, almost irreparable step, but it was a step nonetheless. In enough tiny steps, one day she would discover the rest of the world. When Connie returned home, her grandmother was asleep in bed. Her feet were blackened and raw, even bleeding a bit in places, leading Connie to think she had been pacing around the room till the exhaustion caught up with her. She placed the medicine by her grandmother's pillow and turned to leave, but found an old woman's hand clasped around her arm. Back already, are you? Come here, let me have a look at you. Grandma sat up and examined Connie from head to toe. Finally satisfied that nothing terrible had befallen her grandchild, she leaned back and allowed herself to relax. Well, how was it? Those bastards give you any trouble? It was kind of fun, Connie said with a small smile. No, seriously, it was. Fun, eh? Uh-huh. So, anytime you need me to run an errand, just let me know. As she spoke, Connie removed the crayons from her pocket. After a brief explanation of their source, she informed the grandmother that she was going to sketch her a portrait. A portrait of me? Ridiculous. No one wants to stare at the wrinkled old croon. But Grandma, it'll make you live forever. Horse shit. Living forever would just piss me off. Now put these crayons away and help with dinner. But Connie would not relent, and in the end, Grandma found herself leaning against the wall of their house, posing for the master artist. Connie took up the crayons and eyed her subject carefully and set to work. Just as her grandma was about to nod off, Connie finished the piece, staring at it a bit, and she released from her grip and to the floor. It's terrible. You don't like it at all. I'm sorry, Grandma. I thought these crayons would, make trying easy or something. The old woman's eyes at her grandma's disappointment. Let me be the judge of that. The sketch could have been a person's face. It also could have been a boulder, a lump of clay, or an incredibly misshapen loaf of bread, all rendered into a chaotic array of colors. The old woman stared at the picture for a long time and slowly wheezed out a laugh. Oh, Connie, you truly are my blood. You're as clumsy as me, and I love it. But hush, I won't hear any more bull about how ugly it is. It came from the heart, and I'll treasure it always. True to her word, the old woman gave the picture a place of honor above the kitchen table. In the days that followed, Connie would often catch her staring at the portrait with a strange smile on her face, An action she interpreted as a silent mockery of laughter. A week later, Connie could stand it no more and asked her grandmother to take the artwork down. Hush! I'll take this down when they roll me in a shroud. Listen to me, girl. Seeing this picture makes me happy in a way I've never felt before. And it makes me want to go on, and so someday you can feel the same happiness. It was a moment that burned itself into Connie's memory, the perfect blend of pride and love and joy that came together in a lifelong resemblance. She swore to never forget this moment, to never forget the old woman who made place in a world possible. Time moves on, people and memories move on, and our life goes passing through the hall. But this moment will be different, Connie swore, because I will remember it forever. Forever. Separation. Oh my god, more reading. Oh god. Oh, so much reading. Why? For what? Okay, let's get through this. Oh boy. Connie listened to the sound of the crackling firewood and at the black object on her plate. She'd been pushing it around the wooden disc for a good 10 minutes, ignoring the amused stare of her grandmother. Finally, she summoned the courage and gave the object a brief sniff. A sharp, bitter scent flew to her nostrils and made its home there, causing her face to twist in disgust. Grandma, I can't believe you want me to eat a bug. The old woman threw some more wood in the cooking pot and snorted. This ain't no bug, you fool girl. It's a berry. Why the hell would I be feeding you bugs? Well, it sure looks like a bug, and I think it's burnt or something, because it smells terrible. With that, Connie held her nose and threw the berry in her mouth, chewing it as little as possible. Oh, yeah, that's terrible, all right. Why, you little brat. Look at the sass on you. You've been spending too much time with me, and that's a fact. 5 years passed since the moment Connie's grandmother saved her from the bullies. As is often the way with two stubborn people, the relationship had grown into fits and starts, but moved forward all the same. Meals that used to be somber fails were now filled with laughter, and hurled abuse was in equal measure. Connie could not remember a time when she had been happier. As the years went by, Connie started to shoulder more and more daily responsibilities. Her grandmother's legs grew weaker by the day. She could no longer do many of the chores she used to take for granted. And so this morning, Connie, lacing up her work boots with breakfast at the burnt berry rolling through her belly. Where are you going today? Connie looked surprised. The woman rarely asks for specifics anymore. Well, I was going to check out the kelma trees to see if they were ripe. Thought we could make some jam or something. Oh, I'm going to pick up some flagstones. So I'll need to take the wheelbarrow. Flagstones? The hell for? Connie stared at her grandmother and held out her arm and swept through their home. Constructed mostly of cloth, rope, and rubble, the old place sagged like a boxer in the final round. Grandma, a dying cat could chew through this house. I'm going to build a stone wall so we can have some protection. The old woman laughed, exposing her toothless grin to the world. Goddamn girl. If a bunch of thieves want to ransack the old place, let them. Come on, we ain't got nothing worth stealing anyways. I'm not worried about thieves. I'm worried about shades. People saw one in the west of the village yesterday. The old woman tilted her head and stared at her granddaughter. Well, shoot. I don't know why you have to do it today. Go bring out some other... Grandma, no. If I don't go to the camel trees, we won't eat tonight. You know that. Confused expression across the woman's face, and for a moment she was a small child losing in a carnival. Yes, of course you're right. I'm sorry, Connie. Lately it seems my mind is... She didn't finish the thought and started walking over to the nightstand, gently taking the wreath of lunar tears from her drawer. The flower's petals had aged to a brilliant whiteness, and Connie thought it's the most beautiful now than the day she first received it. You're going to be a true woman soon, Grandma said as she placed the flowers in the girl's hair. So that means less chatter about the shades and building and defensive walls, and more talk about how beautiful you become. Annoyed, Connie reached up and removed the garland, but the look on her grandmother's face stopped her hand. You're a beautiful thing, and there ain't another like you in all the world. I'm very proud of you. Oh, Grandma, that's enough goddamn compliments for one day. Such a mouth on you. Where did that come from? Gee, I wonder. I'll teach you to sass me, girl. Suddenly she lurched forward and grabbed Connie by the ear, pulling her around the room with a crazed grin on her face. Grandma! Grandma, stop it! What the hell? The old woman stared and blinked and reached slowly and held her wrinkled hands out as if it was the first time she had ever seen them. Oh, I don't know what happened then. Sorry, girl. Sometimes my mind's just... Connie thought the look on her grandmother's face was the most heartbreaking thing she'd ever seen. Listen, maybe I should stay home after all. Nah, you don't have to stay here and keep an eye on an old cotter like me. You go get your fruit and your wall and whatnot, I'll be fine. And when you come back, I'll have a nice grasshopper for dinner waiting for you. Connie rolled her eyes and then kissed her grandmother on the forehead and ready to depart, trying desperately to ignore the worry gnawing at the walls of her heart. Connie could feel the old woman watching her as she moved down the path. Don't turn around, she told herself. But in the end, temptation was too great. She spun home, the bit woman standing from their uncircled hut with a sad expression on her face. God, she looks so old now. It's like the wind could have reached down and just carry her away. Connie worried about her grandmother all day, causing her work to sour. What little fruit she could collect was tossed curiously into the wheelbarrow. She only found a couple of stones before losing interest in the project. Finally, as dusk approached, she decided to call it a day. Cursing at herself for the lack of focus, she pushed the nearly empty wheelbarrow back down the path. Whew! As she crested the final hill, she froze in place, the wheelbarrow fingers and clubs to the side, sending a few pieces of the wrinkled brown fruit rolling down the hill. Her gaze transfixed by the thick black cloud that hovered overhead, tracing the path. The finger, she felt the knot in herself. No, oh gods, no. Her grandmother's house was ablaze, the flames flicking and licking up as trying to touch the sky itself. Grandma, Connie ran faster than she had ever in her life. Once she tripped on a stone and went sprawling on the wet ground. She flipped to her feet and continued running, unmindful of the blood that spilled from the wounded hands and knees. She got closer and closer. Connie's mind began to race with her footfalls. It's too dark. No, not just fire. It can't be fire. It's too much smoke. Gotta save her. She burst to the front yard and came to a sudden halt the worst suspicion could fume. The smoke from the fire was mingling with the thick, inky blackness of an enormous shade. The massive creature supported itself on 3 twisted feet and achieved balance by means of a large armored tail. Scales, horns, claws sprouted from the sky body in a random chaotic pattern, giving it appearance of a lizard designed by some insane god. Seeing Connie, it let out a roar and flicked its tail, sending a small whirlwind spinning around the yard. For a moment the creature created a shimmering inky blackness, as if her mind was unable to comprehend such a thing actually exists. But then the smell hit her, the blend of rotted meat and excitement and horror all became real. The creature bellowed again, and this time Connie responded with a scream of her own. Alright, you bastard, she thought as her scream echoed on the hills, the cliffs around him. It's you or me, let's go. The shade eyed Connie with bemused interest, then began looking for her to the house, back again, as if urging her to look at the destruction it had gleefully wrought. With dread building in her heart, Connie glanced at the house. Through the smoke and the flames, she spotted a figure struggling in ruins to escape. Grandma! At the sound of her voice, the old woman began waving faintly. She's alive! Connie's legs sprang to life as she raced across towards the flaming wreckage of the house. Before she could advance more than a few steps, she opened its mouth and let a flying roar enough to uproot trees and send them flying. The blast sent Connie tumbling through the air before smashing against the rocky earth. Stars danced in front of her eyes as she tried to remember how her legs worked. Get up now. As Connie struggled to defeat the shade, stomped towards the house and pinned her grandmother to the ground with the tip of a claw. The old woman struggled to move the claw from her stomach, but she might as well have been pushing a mountain. She coughed briefly, sending a small spray of blood in the air, then collapsed to the ground, her energy spent. Connie launched her feet, only to fall back to the earth with a gasp. Her ankles were on fire, one or both of them surely broken. Ignoring the pain that screamed through her body, she began to drag herself across the ground, leaving a drunk trail of dust and blood in her wake. Grandma, hold on, just a little longer. Her grandmother's face was turning blue. I am so done with reading right now. Alright, let's just get the shade glance between and the giant and blah. Oh yeah. I'm so done with the reading. Yeah, that's when my grandmother died by that shade we fought. Oh, so that's why that shade was also talking in her grandmother's voice too, because it killed her grandmother. Oh boy. Oh god. Oh yay, we're done with the reading! God, that was a lot of reading! Good lord! Yeah, we're just gonna skip all that. Jesus Christ, that was a lot of reading! I forgot how to play. The reading is like totally.
Anger this creature must have. How did it even survive these past 5 years?
I'm not gonna let this happen again. It dies today.
Funny you should say about happening again.
It's not the blade, but the skill of the user. Strike it down.
Trying. I literally. I am just ready to be done. Oh, I can turn it off. Cool. Just gonna ask you to die, please. Let's get this. Oh no, more reading! Oh god. Oh jeez. Hmm. Okay. This is where she gets possessed by the shade. God, so much reading. Tyran. That's the name of the shade inside her. Oh my god, make it stop. Make the reading stop.
Alive.
Oh my god. Okay, we're good. Hey, it's been 5 years.
We are.
By the way,
Yep.
Is that
it's
Yep,
not
hey,
as
it's
good.
a lunatic. Woohoo!
Kaine waking from her long petrified sleep.
Oh no, come on.
Emil's unflagging kindness.
I
Our
want to
union
speed
was
through
a happy
this.
one, and we let it wash over us like rain. That is, until Devila and Popola had to go and ruin it all. Are you kidding?
Please, people are.
This is
Yeah,
no.
now they're all angry.
People are right.
I'm used
But
We'll see. Sorry.
Bye. Now what do? We play the game normally.
What a.
Kaine always never.
We should.
Yep. Oh my god, so much reading. I think I'm gonna die.
I didn't get much sleep that night.
Oh my god, shut up, please. I'm so tired.
For the first time in my life, I hated Devila.
Oh.
For the first time in my life, I doubted Popola. But those feelings are pointless in the end. They said and did what they did for the sake of the village. To protect it from the horror of the Shades. Really, how can I blame Devila and Popola? In the end, I'm just as bad. Because I never once
my
stopped to
goodness.
think about Kaine and Emil's situation myself.
Oh?
I should apologize to Kaine and Emil, but what good would that even do?
I got a fire going. Kaine.
Wait, is that...
Campfires are... I'm so happy to get to talk to you again, Kaine.
Yeah, me too.
Aw.
I tried everything I could think of to save you, you know. I polished you with a special cloth. I poured warm water over you.
Oh.
Wait, you poured water on me?
Yeah, but it didn't really do much except make you all shiny.
Hey, Emil. Thanks for saving me.
I guess you noticed how I look different now.
I'm sorry, Emil. I'm sorry for all of it.
Well, I mean, this new form isn't all bad, you know? At least I can look at you when we talk, right? Hey, so why don't you tell me something about yourself?
I'm not very interesting. Sorry.
Come on, I just want to know you better. Please?
Oh, that's so precious.
This all happened when I was a kid, before the whole shade possession thing. My body is different. And when the villagers found out about it, they started treating me like a freak. But one person, my grandmother, accepted me just as I was. No matter how bad things got, she gave me the strength to keep going.
She's really special to you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, hey! That gives me an idea. Since we cured your petrification, we should start looking for a way to cure your possession in my body. I know we can do it if we all work together. Heck, it'll probably be super easy.
Let me guess. More warm water?
Okay, can we just forget I told you about that?
Oh, they're so precious. I love them. Look, they're not letting it get to them. Coming up to play! Woo!
Sleep well?
Sure.
And yet, don't be
I need to...
very well. I feel...
Of course she did.
That must be where the book is.
What might that...
It's Mom's diary.
I have not heard you speak much about your mother.
She got the Black Scrawl and died when I was little.
My apologies.
It's all right. This is the only thing. Reading it helps remind me of when...
I see.
But the final entry is...
In what way?
Well, take a look.
Oh god, no, not more reading!
Say there. Can you not
Oh no. What the heck? What the heck? Hello?
Why are you standing about like a slack-jawed ninny?
Sorry. Felt like I was dreaming or something.
Sleeping on one's feet is
Why
quite
am I
a talent
dead, dear?
indeed. Come now. There's the door.
Right. Let's go.
Hello? Whoa. Yeah, no. Let's just go look at that later. I don't want to look at that right now. What the heck is that? Why was I Dad NieR? What the freak was that? Okay, I'll look at that later. Thank you very much. I'm,
Something wrong?
I feel as if I've just awoken.
I know what you mean.
yeah, I'll read it later. Alright, how should I do this? Because this is just replaying the same game. But there might be like little extra scenes with Kane and Emil, or just Kane in general. Well, until next time, I guess I'll just record it to the end again. I don't know. See what happens. Until next time on this lovely little adventure. Whew! We're getting there.